What's going on, guys? I'm KR Moore, and today we're gonna mix and master a song. So the song I'm working on today is actually called Dove's Cry by Prince, and is covered by the artist Steve Harmony. So let's mix this song and hopefully he likes how it turns out. All right, so let's get into it. So as you know, I always start with my template, and then I like to go through everything and then organize. So I'm gonna quickly do that. It's not a very big production, and it does more or less sound similar to the original in a sense. I think he tried to mimic that in his production. So get everything in order, and then we'll start the mix. So this synth right here, right off the bat, I think this is supposed to be the bass synth, but I do like some of that top end information. So I think I'm gonna split this into two and then focus on one as the bass and then one as my top end. But let me solo let you hear it. First thing I wanna do, I'm gonna duplicate that track completely. I'm gonna drag one into my bass bus. I'm gonna focus on this one solely as a bass instrument. So first thing I'm gonna need to do is to get an EQ. Just roll off all the top end on the second one. Solo this and then play back. Let's just get a steeper curve here. I just wanna roll this off some more. Have this serve as a bottom, like my bass. And then I'll have the same thing happening on the actual synth track, but I'm gonna use that in reverse. This is gonna be my crossover point, 193 Hertz. So I'm gonna set this one to roll off from the bottom, to switch off the high. It's the high cut, sorry. Let's solo the actual original synth. That'll be our crossover point. So together they should sound pretty good. But let me add some saturation first. Simple saturation plugin, but I love it. Works really well. I want to beef up the bottom end some more. One of my go-to plugins just for getting some really nice beefy bottom end. And it's best if you're wearing headphones or if you have studio monitors set up with a subwoofer. You'll better hear what I'm doing right now. But at least a decent pair of headphones will give you an idea of what I'm doing. All right, let's hear those together. Nice. Call this one synth bass. I want to try out my bass lane plugin. I've been messing with this a lot lately. I'm really loving what I'm getting from it. So I don't know if this is going to work on it because I rolled off everything off the top. But let's see what happens. Ooh, very nice. I like that. I like that. I think I'm going to keep that there. It still keeps all my bottom end information in the center, but it just takes that upper harmonics and just spreads it out a bit. Well, yeah, let's keep going. Now that I got all my instruments in place, let us get the vocals organized. All right, so now that I got my vocals organized, let's get rid of all the empty tracks that we're not using. I always gotta make sure that my labels are done properly because once I get into the zone, I don't wanna be searching for things and can't find them. So I'm gonna quickly do a little bit of gain staging on the instrumental, and then I'm gonna do the same to the vocals just to make sure everything is coming in at a level that I like and I don't have to be worrying about that later. I'm not going crazy on the gain stage and I'm not obsessing over it. I just want a nice, decent level coming in where I'm not clipping, I'm not too loud, and I'm not too quiet.
This bores me. Yeah.
These look a little quiet over here. I'm gonna bring those up a little bit. Check these. Let's get that piano up a little bit more. Let's hear this. Get that up a bit more. Vocals look pretty good. My harmonies look a little quieter. I'm gonna just bring those up, gain them up a little bit.
This bores me. Yeah.
These can all come up, all these background vocals here. I'm gonna bring them all up. I'm just gonna bring all of these up together. Just want a nice, hot, but clean signal coming in.
Picture that.
That sounds really good already. Remember, there's no balancing that happened already. And doing a form of gain staging is really balancing in and of itself. You know me, I like to start with my instrumental. Before we do that, let's take a quick listen to the reference.
This bores me. Yeah.
So I'll get the idea what he's going for in the reference. He's more or less trying to just be pretty much very similar to the original, but with his voice. Starting with my drums. Bring these all down. If you focus over here, I like to get my bass, my kick drum to hit at around -10. Again, I'm not obsessing about it. It's just a good level that I like to start off at. That's what I'm gonna do now. Loving the drums already, let's bring that bass in. That sounds good. That's a pretty good static mix. Let's bring the vocals in and sit them where they need to be. And then we'll work on everything after that. Turn off all the effects on my bus, on my vocal bus. And we're gonna bring all of these down. And we're gonna blend them in. See how they sound.
Check it out. Picture that. Picture this. And blues, animals strike curious poses. Feel the heat
It's a good starting point right there. So first thing I want to do is on my instrumental, I'll do a little bit of processing here. So on my top end instruments, I'm going to run through another bus and just make sure that there's no bottom end coming through those at all for any reason. I add a dynamic EQ right here just to kind of tame some of those harsh frequencies when they're coming through. Nice. My kick, I'm gonna add another EQ. I like to find where my kick really cuts through or it gets nice and punchy, and then I'll boost that a little bit. So I'm just gonna search for that right now. Around 120 sounds really good. A lot of kicks actually punches in that particular range, but it varies from kick to kick and sample to sample. Keep that here, tighten my Q a little bit, and I'm gonna boost my gain a bit right here. While I have this up, I'm gonna throw another EQ on my bass bus. If you remember, I did that little thing with the bass lane on my bass bus. So instead of mono, as we know bass instruments are normally supposed to be, I'm gonna throw on a stereo one. So I wanna maintain that stereo imaging that I did at the top end of that bass line. I like that 52 hertz range on this one. I'm gonna keep it right there. Don't wanna be boosting 6 dBs for sure. Let's bring that down to about like 0.5. And what's happening right now is I'm boosting the bottom end for this one at 52. And then I'm boosting on my kick at 125. I'm going to take that 125 on this bass instrument, although I don't think it isn't even registering anything there. I rolled off so much. I'm going to take that 125 area. I'm going to cut that by the same amount that I'm boosting on the kick. That'll kind of create that space for my kick to sit. And then that 52 hertz range, I'm going to find that as well on my kick. Tighten it up a bit. I'm going to cut that same amount that I'm boosting on kick. But I'm not sure if you're able to hear the difference, but right now they're like sitting really good together. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And so far all we've done was just balance and EQ. We haven't done any compression, any special effects, or nothing like that aside from what I did on the bass. But yeah, that's really it. Okay, so similarly with my drums, I want to do the same thing with my instruments. I'm gonna add another bus, high-ends bus, high instruments. This EQ over here, doing a similar thing. For the piano, there's a plugin that I really like. This is Greg Wells Piano Centric. I want to see how it sounds like on here. I think it will really bring my piano to life. I don't know if I like the delay. Let's cut the delay off. I like that. It sounds really good. I don't want it too spiky though, so let's pull it back around somewhere around here. Okay, so now that we got the piano and all my high instruments rolled off how I like, let's get into some vocal processing. I think I will add RVox on all my vocals. A nice even vocal coming in.
Dream if you came to courtyard, oceans and violets and blooms.
All these tracks, I want to throw a simple gate on there.
Yeah, if you will in my stomach, I feel all the trembles inside. You got me, yeah. Dig if you will.
I want to balance these vocals in the backgrounds, make sure they're working well together.
Between me and you, just leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold. Maybe I'm just too demanding. Alone in a world that's so cold. Maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold. Maybe you're just like my mother. She's never satisfied.
Sounds super dope. Let's bring in the bass vocal. Actually, let's jump to over here because there's a high vocal that I need to bring in as well.
How can you just leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold? Maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe I'm just.
Let's bring that bass vocal.
How can you just leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold? Maybe I'm just too demanding.
So next thing I want to do before I do anything else with these background vocals is I want to make sure everything is super tight. I'm going to tighten these up right now. Yeah, for that, I like to use Vocal Line. This is like one of my go-to tools to make sure my vocals are sounding good. I'm going to tighten up all these vocals using Vocal Line, and I'm going to quickly speed through this and you can hear the end result.
Between me and you, just leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold. Maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold. Maybe you're just like my mother.
So once I got my vocals all aligned, I just print everything so I don't have to worry about that again. Nice, let's do some vocal bus processing. I'm gonna start with my lead vocals.
Picture you and I engaged and kissed.
So right here, I'm just trying to add some more body to the vocals. Pushing a little bit of 300 hertz here. Then I want to run through my SSL channel strip just to color the vocals a bit more. Get that SSL sound. Pushing a little more compression on the SSL. De-esser to take care of some of those pesky sibilants. And my go-to TDR Nova just to tame some of those harsh frequencies between the 2 to 3K area. I also noticed some boominess coming through at around 200 hertz, so I decided to add another node there to just kind of tame things when they get a little offensive.
Can you, my darling, can you picture this? Dream if you came to courtyard.
So there's some parts that I'm hearing that are really getting drowned out. And I want everything to be intelligible. So this plugin will kind of help me to do that. So yeah, this plugin really is like, they call it a low level compressor. But yeah, it just basically brings up all the low, quieter parts. And if a part gets too loud, it just compresses it like a regular compressor does.
Dig if you will, the picture. You and I engaged and kissed. The sweat of your body covers Steve. Can you, my darling?
That sounds really good. I like that. Let's add a little bit more sparkle. Another go-to plugin that I like to use.
Dig if you will, the picture. You and I engaged and kissed.
Just adds a nice little bite to it. Listen to listen to it bypassed.
Dig if you will, the picture. You and I engaged and kissed. The sweat of your body covers Steve. Can you, my darling?
So I'm gonna leave that for now. I'm gonna jump on my background vocals here.
So cold. Baby, I'm just too
So again, starting with my EQ, pushing up at around 300 hertz, 400 hertz here, 500 hertz here.
baby.
Running through my channel strip again, a bit more compression, and the TDR Nova. Take care of some of that harsh frequencies.
Feel the heat between me and you.
This LA2A is just kind of grabbing the peaks, not doing a whole lot. And the DSR, of course, to take care of the sibilants. Let's bring up my doubler on the background vocals.
Feel the heat between me and you. Just leave me standing. Alone in a world, it's so cold.
Bring in some reverb.
Dig if you will, the picture. You and I engaged and kissed.
I don't think this reverb works with this song. Let's figure that out.
Dig if you will, the picture.
Short.
Dig if you will, the picture. You and I engaged and kissed. The sweat of your body covers Steve.
Let's get it out of the way when the vocals come in.
Dig if you will, the picture. You and I engaged and kissed.
Like a nice slap back delay. Try this out.
Dig if you will, the picture. You and I engaged and kissed. The sweat of your body covers Steve. Can you, my darling? Can you picture the sweat of your body covers Steve? Dig if you will, the picture. You and I engaged and kissed. The sweat of your body covers Steve.
I think I want to put these screams on the main vocal buds. Yeah, so let's do that. Then I can do my special little delay trick I like to do. Nice. The DSN is a little heavier than I want, so I'm going to use 2 DSs on my vocal bus just to spread the work across both of them. With one of the factory presets.
Yeah, touch if you will in my stomach. I feel all the trembles inside. You got the butterflies all tied up.
Let's add a couple of delay throws in here, especially when it gets to my scream. And that's my favorite part. Got a delay preset that I love. I don't even remember when or how I came up with it, but it's such a vibe. I like that. I'm gonna put these runs on my ad-libs track. Probably not gonna use as much effects on that track, just so these runs could kind of stand out a bit more.
So cold, baby, I'm just too demanding. Yeah, just like my father, too bold, baby, you're just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
Let's add some auto-tune. So I'm currently using Auto-Tune Pro 11, and sometimes depends on depends on the vocalist that I'm working with. My auto-tune settings may look a little crazy, but I like to get a nice, clean, modern sound, unless the song calls for something else. So even though my retune speed is high, my flex tune is kind of deciding how much tuning is actually coming through.
Dig if you will, the picture. You and I engaged and kissed. The sweat of your body covers Steve.
Just a little more dynamic EQ. Control around that 200 hertz. And right here, I'm just going to be doing some melodyne, some pitch correction. So I kind of speed through this process here. I think I'll actually make a video about how I use melodyne. All right. And once I got that done, I'm just going to print everything. All right, so now that I got all my parts melodyne, I'm just going to dive right into the mix post processing and then master this track.
Oceans and violets and blue animals strike curious poses.
So I also got an instance of TDR Nova on my mix bus, and I'm using that again to tame some harsh frequencies and roll off some bottom end that we don't need and some of the top end that we don't need.
Just to the maybe, baby, I'm just like my father. Too bold, baby, you're just like my mother. Yeah, she's never satisfied.
Here I'm just pulling in my mix bus preset, and the first plugin I'm going to is a very old version of Isotope Ozone, which I like to use for the compression with the histogram. Now moving on to my Wave C1 compressor, again trying to tame that harshness. I'm always looking at how harsh my mix is getting as I'm going along, so that it's never building up along the way. And I'll do a little bit more limiting. And then this bass room plugin I like to use to shape the bottom end of my mix.
Check. Picture that. Sweat of your body covers Steve.
You could hear I was opening up the mix.
Can you picture this? Dream if you can, the courtyard. Oceans and violets and blue moons. Strike curious poses. Feel the heat between me and you.
So mix bus processing off.
Just leave me standing. Don't need a world.
Processing on.
Just leave me standing.
One more thing I'm going to do before I bring my main limiter in on my master channel. I like to do a little bit of stereo imaging and just widen things out a bit using a multiband exciter. The one I like to use is from Ozone. And I'm still on Ozone 9. Don't come for me. But it works fine. And I'm probably not going to change until I really need to.
Just leave me standing. Only in a world that's so cold. Baby, I'm just too demanding. Baby, I'm just like my father. Too bold when doves cry. Just leave me standing. Only in a world that's so cold. Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
I just also just rolled off some of the lows in the sides just to clean that up a bit. And now I'm gonna bring in my master preset, my master channel preset. So now I just want to get my levels up and polish things off as well. And I will adjust the levels so I'm not blowing your speakers or blowing your ears out. You can thank me later for that. So right here, I'm just soloing the low end on my mid-side limiter. And I just want to let only the bottom end through when I'm setting my crossover.
In a world it's so cold, baby, I'm just too demanding. Baby, I'm just like my father, too bold.
Don't be afraid to push to get your levels and then fix all the issues afterwards. So what I like to do is just get my levels up to where I want it, and then I'll go and deal with if I'm having distortion or anything like that.
Just leave me standing in a world it's so cold, in a world so cold. Baby, I'm just too demanding. Baby, I'm just like my father, too bold. Baby, you're just like my mother. Each other. This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
So I like to have an EQ before my master bus just to help shape the tonality of the mix. But I like to get that EQ in after I get my levels up. So this is technically part of my mix bus processing. But as I said, I like to get that done after I get my levels up to where I want them to be, more or less. And then I'll go in and shape how I want the mix to sound.
Just leave me standing in a world it's so cold, in a world so cold. Baby, I'm just too demanding. Baby, I'm just like my father, too bold. Baby, you're just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Scream at each other. This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
The plugin that I also like to use for my master, just to take some of the edge off, it's a tape machine emulator, Universal Audio. And I like to have these in front of my TDR Nova plugin just cause I'm adding any extra bottom or top end. That's also getting rolled off.
Just leave me standing in a world it's so cold, in a world so cold. Baby, I'm just too demanding. Baby, I'm just like.
It just takes the edge off and kind of de-harshes it a bit. I think the bottom end is just a little bit much, so I'm gonna pull that back a bit.
Just leave me standing in a world it's so cold, in a world so cold. Baby, I'm just too demanding. Baby, I'm just like my father, too bold. Baby, you're just like my mother.
So remember when I started the master, my limiter, when I brought the levels up, I was distorting a bit and I was hitting around 8.2, which is where I wanted it to be. But now I'm getting like 10 dBs of dynamic range. And I like to look at the dynamic range. I still look at the LUFS. I like to see how much dynamics I'm retaining in my mix. I don't want to squash everything out. And this is especially helpful for when you go to streaming platforms, because then if you go in at a certain level, they're going to turn you down. If you already squashed everything, now you have no dynamics in your song, and it's just one squashed, quiet song. So when I get to this point and I want to bring it back up, I like to add something like the standard clip, just to give me a little boost over the edge, just to get to where I need to get to, 16.
Can you just leave me standing in a world that's so cold, Baby, I'm just too.
Actually, honestly, I'm happy with that. That's good. Put a delay on this little synth scream right here. Just want to have a little bit more stereo information happening. So let's add, I'm going to break the rules here. I'm going to drop a reverb directly onto that track. And let's also add just this delay. Pan that left and right. Nice. Widen it some more. Share it in context.
Slim standing. Only in a world it's so cold.
And there you have it. That's it for the video. That's the mix and master. If you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to build up my YouTube community, my channel, so please show some support if you do enjoy the videos that I'm putting out. Until next time, stay creative.